Here's Marvel Legends Dr. Octopus figures from Toybiz and Hasbro based off his comic appearance, except for this one of course, which is based off his animated series appearance. And let's go straight into this version over here. Here's the first version from the Fearsome Foes box set. He has two other releases. One is this individual release and the other is in the 2-pack with a Spidey figure. The single release does not have the cloth lab coat. Instead, the lab coat is rubbery. Each of the figure in the Fearsome Foes box set has this sort of circular base. And for the figure itself, the articulation is really basic. Single hinge knee and elbow joints, and the crotch area is really the basic connection of the swivel joint at the thighs. You can only swivel forward like this. And a bit of articulation at the ankles as well, just the hinge up and down. Neck rotation and waist swivel, and that's it. And look at the waist, it's really kind of weird to see this circular area on top of the diaper crotch, and yeah, this figure is really kind of terrible. It really hasn't aged well. But you have to admit the details on the head sculpt is really typical Toybiz standard. Plenty of sculpted facial lines. Here's the back of the figure. The tentacles goes into the lab coat, and you can remove the tentacles. The connection, however, is kind of weird because you see the peg over here is shaped like this, and you kind of slot it into the hole at the back. And it doesn't really stay in a position. Look at how limber it is. Same goes for the other side. I don't know if this is a common problem with this figure, but how are you supposed to, post the tentacles upwards if it doesn't stay in place? Yeah, the tentacles are of course bendable, and the claws are the small ones like this. And for the height of the figure, it is really barely reaching the shoulder of Retro Spidey over here. Next up, here's the Marvel Legends Toybiz Series 8 Dr. Octopus, and here's a repaint of the same exact figure in the Spider-Man Origins series from when Hasbro just took over the licensing from Toybiz. So essentially, they are exactly the same except for the color scheme. This one kind of follows the ultimate version of Dr. Octopus, having the green darker and the silver at the boots and the gloves. But of course, in the comics, Dr. Octopus is much more lean and isn't overweight. So yeah, it's really kind of odd that they reused the same figure for the ultimate Dr. Octopus. One thing to share about this repaint is that I think it is a common problem whereby there is discoloration at the torso. You can see the green color here is slightly darker or slightly different in shade compared to the arms and the legs. This version is definitely way better than the Fearsome Foes Dr. Octopus. The articulation on this figure is a typical Toybiz articulation, having the bicep swivel, double hinge elbows and knee joints, ball hip joint, finger articulation, toe hinge, waist swivel. It doesn't have a torso ab crunch or any sort of diaphragm cut, and the neck hinge joint, which is kind of more exposed than how it should be. The articulation on this figure is really decent. It even has the forearm swivel and also the calf swivel. Here's how the figure looks like at the back. The green on the back of the torso is slightly discolored. It is a bit darker for my figure. And this time round, the pegs are way better. Having this sort of peg which inserts into the hole and it stays in it and is able to hold the position of the tentacle if you were to bring it up. There. Really solid. This Dr. Octopus figure is actually really great. The sculpt on the tentacle is really great, and on one side of it, it even has those suctions just like an octopus. Look at that. And definitely, these articulated claws are really awesome. You can also rotate. And yeah, really awesome with the grayish wash on the claw. Size-wise, he's barely reaching the shoulders of Retro Spidey, but I think once you pose him, he doesn't look awkwardly small compared to Spidey. Here are the two Earth 616 versions of Dr. Octopus done by Hasbro. The first one is from SPDR Wave and the second one is from this 2-pack. These two figures are exactly the same, only a slight difference in the paintwork for this one. This one is slightly brighter green and brighter yellow compared to the first version that was released here. And this second one also has an alternate head and two pairs of hands instead of one. So let me just put this aside. Both of them does not come with bendable tentacles. These tentacles are fixed in this position. There is no way for you to pose them in any other way. I really don't know why they make the bottom tentacles go outwards like this. And you really can't bend them or put them in any other position. So yeah, the look of the tentacles is just like this. The articulation on the figure is pretty much standard Hasbro articulation. Bicep swivel, double hinge, elbow and knee joints, calf swivel for this one. Oops. There. And ankle pivot as usual. And this time round, it has the mid-torso joint which allows rotation, sideways movement, and also front and back. Both the head sculpts are decent. For the tentacles, they actually label them as R for right, S, I don't know what it is supposed to stand for, and the other one is SL, L for left. There. This is the bottom one. Where's the label? Yeah, there it is. XL, L for left. And for size-wise, this Doc Ock definitely sizes up better. He is only slightly shorter than Retro Spidey. And finally, here's the VHS animated series Dr. Octopus. The appearance really follows closely to the animated series. Articulation on him is quite decent. He has the updated articulation whereby the neck is also able to move. So yeah, he does have quite a decent range of movement for the head. However, for the torso, he doesn't have any mid-torso joint. He has the waist joint, which allows him to move back and front a bit and also rotate. A bit of sideways movement as well. The rest of the articulation are typical. The double hinge elbow and knee joint, thigh swivel, bicep swivel, and ankle pivot and hinge joint. He doesn't have any calf swivel. Nope. And yes, finally Hasbro decided to do bendable tentacles. Should have done this for the comic version Dr. Octopus. And it is connected via this pack into the hole at the back. The tentacles are also long enough to wrap around another figure. Here's the VHS Dr. Octopus with Retro Spidey. They are about the same height. Now, can the tentacles from the Toybiz Dr. Octopus and the VHS Dr. Octopus fit into this Hasbro Dr. Octopus here? First off, let's just compare the length of the Toybiz and Hasbro bendable tentacles. The Hasbro version is definitely longer than the Toybiz version. The claws, however, are of course different. The Toybiz version has the articulated claws. And for the VHS claws, two of them are open up like this and the other two are closed like this. So yeah, let's see if the VHS version can fit the comic version. The answer is yes. It stays in place quite firmly. There. Somehow it's actually a bit harder to poke it into the bottom hole. The top two holes are quite easy, but the bottom one, quite difficult. You can see the other one didn't really go in all the way. And same goes for this other one. Really a struggle to make it stay. So here's the VHS tentacles on the comic version Dr. Octopus. These two bottom tentacles are actually barely holding on into the hole at the back. So yeah, I don't know why the top one fits in snugly and is able to hold the shape and the position, but the bottom one actually does not go in into the hole well. Look at this. There, it's off. And one thing you can do is actually to remove this claw over here and remove this one. And you can actually replace it if you want. There. The color is a bit off, just very slightly off. But I think it still looks okay. There. So yeah, the tentacles are actually And for the Toybiz claws, it goes into the hole nicely, except that the peg is kind of long, so it protrudes out a bit. How about the bottom hole? Yep, it is also tighter at the bottom hole, but at the very least, it is secure. There, it is quite secure. Here's the Hasbro comic version Dr. Octopus with the Toybiz Tentacles, and I think this one looks really great. Even though it is slightly shorter, I think the overall look and also the claws for the Toybiz Tentacles is way better than the Hasbro version. So I think it's really worth it if you're able to find the Toybiz Tentacles to put on your Hasbro Dr. Octopus. Oh yeah, and in case if you're wondering whether the Fission Force Tentacles can go in, probably not because of the way the pegs are. Look at that, it is bigger than the hole at the back of the Hasbro Dr. Octopus figure. The only way for you to do it is to trim the peg of this tentacle. I think this combination of the two-pack Hasbro Dr. Octopus with the Toybiz Tentacles is the best comic version of Dr. Octopus. Thanks for watching. Do share your thoughts about the Dr. Octopus figures that we have so far, and check out the other videos at my channel.